Rev it up and welcome to Cars Yeah, show number 1183.
Learn at every opportunity from everyone around you.
This is Cars Yeah, where you'll enjoy interviews with inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Mark Green is here to provide you with a fuel injection of automotive inspiration. So get in, sit down, buckle up, and get ready for a wild ride here on Cars Yeah.
Hello, automotive enthusiasts. I'm revved up and so excited to introduce today's very special guest, calling in from Danbury, Connecticut, Colin Dilley. Hey, Colin, are you buckled up and ready for a fun ride?
Mark, I am. The seatbelt is working because I don't hear that annoying beeping sound anymore.
There you go. We're ready to go. And our car is protected with some wonderful antifreeze, and I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. Colin Dilley, Ph.D., is the Vice President of Technology at Prestone Products Corporation. He joined the company in 1995 and is a well-recognized technological and commercial leader in the automotive fluid industry. At Prestone, Colin specializes in strategic business management of critical projects, including effectively revising processes, systems, and procedures to facilitate improvements in cost structure, quality, and service. He's been directly responsible for developing and launching several proprietary Prestone products, including Prestone's new Cor-Guard corrosion inhibitor technology in the industry's leading antifreeze coolant. And I want to thank, shout out here to Devin at Zam at JMPR, I should say. Sorry about that. She is the one that connected us, and I had a pleasure of meeting Colin when I was at the SEMA show, which was very, very cool to meet a guest before I had him on the show. So thank you, Devin, for that. So, Colin, I've told our listeners just a little bit about you. Would you take a brief moment, share a little more about your career and a very obvious passion for taking care of automobiles?
Sure, Mark. Like you said, I've been with Prestone for quite a number of years. Fancy bio, but I consider myself more the mad scientist than the way you describe me. But I do have a passion for car, which really was built all around Prestone. And really that's because Prestone is the leader in new coolant technology. And we're continuously designing coolant to meet the challenges of the newer, smaller, lighter engines that are manufactured today. And that's really what I like about automotive. It's the challenges in this industry that really get you to know your vehicle, love your vehicle, and love everything automotive.
Absolutely. One of the cool things that Colin shared with me when I was at SEMA with him was some of the new technology they're using. And he showed me some examples of some metallurgy. Metallurgy? Am I saying that word right? I would totally.
We prefer metallurgy.
Go ahead.
But you go with it.
Metallurgy. There you go. Some really cool things he was showing me about some of the innovative products there at Prestone. And I was telling him I've been a user of Prestone my whole life. I mean, the yellow jug, but things are very different nowadays in the car industry. There's lots of new technology. And when you look at a lot of these coolants now, they're all different colors depending on the manufacturer and where they come from. But we're going to learn a lot more about that as we go through the questions. But first, I want to ask you, Colin, for a success quote or a mantra, some kind of saying that's been instrumental in forming your life. And it's a really nice way to get the inspirational tires turning here on Cars Yeah. So, Colin, take the wheel.
Sure. My mantra really is about, it's absolutely learn at every opportunity from everyone around you. Never base knowledge on someone's title. Just learn from people around you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, somebody like you that holds a doctorate, and I mean, you're a super smart guy. When we were talking, some of the stuff you were saying was going over my head a little bit. But let me ask you this. You said something very interesting. Learn from everyone around you, not just the people that have fancy titles next to their names. Can you give me a couple examples of some of the maybe interesting things you learned, some people that you never expected you might learn them from?
Well, it's really the guys with the dirty hands and the dirty fingernails. And you probably noticed I had dirty fingernails when we met in SEMA. It's the guy that's got the hands on in the car. He's rebuilding engines. He's souping up engines. He's the guy that sees what happens if you do something wrong. He's the guy that sees what happens if you do something right. And he experiences and lives all those changes. So it really doesn't matter about the position or the title. It's all about what someone does, what they learn, what they see.
Yeah. You know, it's really great advice. I knew a guy years ago that had a trucking business. And one of the things he told me, he said, I learn more by going down to the loading dock and talking to the drivers than I do talking to any of my executives. because those are the guys that really know what's going on about the product we're moving around, the trucks that we're driving around in, how the consumer responds when we pull up to a dock and unload that truck. So I'm glad you mentioned that, because lots of times all those other folks in an industry kind of get forgotten or pushed aside. And many times they're the ones that really know the most. So the dirty fingernail guys, I like that.
And never go in there with I'm a doctorate of this or I'm a vice president of that. There's no need for that type of thing. Just know people on an equal basis and talk them in the environment. And that's how you learn. And that's how you meet good friends that you'll know for the rest of your life.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's talk about a story that instigated your personal passion for cars. Is there a pivotal moment in your life when you knew that you were going to be a car guy?
There is, and it's kind of a odd story. What ignited me really was my passion came when I really felt how the looks of the car met the workings of the car. It was when I realized I had the ability to change how others experienced the car through the work I was doing with Prestone. My scientific intrigue was challenged, and I could make a difference to both how a car was seen and how an engine could run as I worked on everything from car washes to waxes to brake fluids, antifreeze, coolant. So for me, my passion was ignited by a series of challenges, and those challenges, the results of those challenges, I started applying to my own vehicles. And as I started seeing differences, my passions grew. So it wasn't one thing that made me into a car guy. It was learning and appreciation of all those wonders that was in the automotive industry.
Well, you made a great segue there, Colin, into my next question. I always like to ask my guests about a big challenge they face in their career or their life, or even a huge failure, because these are wonderful learning opportunities. So maybe take us to one of those specifically, kind of walk us through the pain, if you will. I'm going to put you on the couch here in the doctor's office to kind of walk through the pain so we can get past that. But more importantly, what was the learned lesson from that experience?
Wow. So pain and cars came together, and my biggest challenge was automobile related, but not in a good way. But it did lead to my journey with Prestone and to my love of cars. A car crash about 25 years ago left me to continue my job as a carpenter framing houses. It left me partially paralyzed, unable to use my right arm. And about 18 months of rehab and unemployment later, on one Sunday morning, about 23 years ago, I saw in the paper an employment ad for the quality assurance technician at Prestone. And that led to an amazing journey, a couple more degrees, and to my current position. And the learning from this is I learned to never give up, to give every day my best, and not to let anyone else dictate my success or failure. You have to realize that you are responsible for yourself, and you are responsible for what you do and how you affect other people. So my biggest challenge was a painful one, but I came through it stronger. And from that, my path led to Prestone. And from that, it has led to an amazing relationship with cars and the automotive industry.
Oh my God, what an incredible story. Well, first and foremost, I'm so sorry that you went through that, but it's kind of the proverbial when one door closes, another opens. If you have your eyes looking for opportunities, and the fact that you had to go through that to end up where you are now has got to make the situation you're in now that much sweeter, right?
Absolutely. And I was a construction worker. And it just shows that if you apply yourself, you can be anything you want to be. And honestly, I grew up in England. I live in America, and this is the country where you can do anything you want to do.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that. I have a good friend who's a car buddy of mine. He used to hang out with me on Thursday nights. I did a thing where I used to work called Boys Night Out, where we would hang out, work on cars and play with stuff. And I was always working on the car care line we were selling, trying to make it better. And he's a brain surgeon. And shout out to Bill, my good buddy Bill. In fact, talked to him this morning. And I said to him one time, I said, man, I don't know how you do what you could do. I could never do that. And he said, yes, you could. If you really wanted to, you could. You just have to work really hard. It takes a lot of work and effort, but anybody can do anything. He said the same thing, and it really stood out to me because you think the proverbial brain surgeon is the smartest guy in the room or in the building or the block of the city because got to be pretty smart, or a rocket scientist, right? But that's an awesome story, Colin. Thank you for sharing that. What a great inspiration that was for you and the opportunities that Prestone provided. I'm guessing they provided all sorts of opportunities that you were able to take, not so much advantage of, but utilize, right?
The opportunities, the education they offered, and it's just one of those things. It's there, take the opportunity, work hard, and do it.
There you go. It's wonderful. Well, let's shift gears and go to the other end of the spectrum and talk about a story that was a big career aha moment. Now, you just shared a pretty big aha there when you looked at that ad, but is there another one you might share that kind of came to light? The headlights kind of steered you down a new path in your career, and tell us the steps you took to turn that aha moment into a success.
So I think my aha moment came quite a long way into my career with Prestone when I suddenly realized I had a passion in automotive industry. I had a passion in, strangely enough, antifreeze coolant. Who the hell else has a passion in antifreeze coolant?
Yeah.
But I could see what it was doing. I was proud of what I was doing. And I realized I did not have to be like everyone else. I could bring automotive chemical science into an easily understood conversation with people around me, so I could start sharing the benefits of what I was doing. And since then, I've had the great opportunity to meet people such as yourself that we met in SEMA and this radio show, to really talk to you on podcasts. So my aha moment was, it's not just business, it's my passion. So let that passion come out with the people I talk to.
Yeah. Well, that's what Cars Yeah is all about. People who are passionate about what they do, and they figured out how to wrap it into their lives, and specifically around the automotive industry. So that's pretty cool. Your passion is about coolant and chemicals and things. I understand that. My wife's an engineer, and some of the things she's passionate about when it comes to mathematics, I kind of roll my eyes and go, oh my gosh. But thankfully, she's a really smart gal, way smarter than I am. So I love it. Well, let's have a bit of fun and talk about your first really special vehicle, that first car that you got that had great meaning for you, and maybe share a memory about that special ride.
Sure. My first great car, the one I really loved, was my first ever car. Back in the UK, I think I was 20 years old, just got out of college, and I got myself a 1968 MG BGT. It was a midnight blue, and I loved that thing. Drove it everywhere all the time, and it was fantastic. And about 2 years later on, I met an American girl and married her, so I moved to the States and didn't bring the car with me, which I missed almost every day because I loved that car. My sister was kind enough to tell me that she would take it off my hands and sell it for me because I didn't have time to sell it as I was moving. And about 2 years later on, I'm talking to her and trying to understand why she had such a problem selling the car. Well, my sister kind of fell in love with the car and was then driving it as her everyday car. She hadn't actually got around to trying to sell it for me, at which point I needed money to get a house with my wife. So, I had to lay down the law and say, sell it for me. But she loved it probably more than I did. So she sold it, gave my dad the money. He brought it over to me in a big wallet, picked him up at JFK Airport, New York. It fell out of his pocket when we were getting into the car, and we drove home. And when we got home, we found out we didn't have the cash for the car anymore.
Oh, no. Oh, that's horrible.
And this is the crazy thing. We drove all the way back to the parking lot in JFK, where I was telling my dad, this is crazy, nothing's going to be there. We drove into the parking lot. There was the big wallet on the ground. We picked it up. 3 hours later on, all the cash was inside.
Oh, my gosh. Wow. Well, thank goodness the story ended that way. Oh, I was heartbroken for you, Colin. I'm like, oh, no, not after all that. But wow. Well, somebody was looking over you that day. That's very, very nice. So I'm glad it ended up that way. We had a similar story with my son at Disneyland one year. The grandparents had given each of the kids a $50 bill to spend, and my son was very young. He insisted on carrying that money, and he fell out of his pocket, got lost, and thought, oh my gosh, this is terrible. And at the end of the day, somebody picked that up and actually turned it in. So wow. The wonders of being at Disneyland. Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, I'm so glad you got that back. Well, is that your Sellers Remorse story, that MGB? I love those little cars.
They're a fantastic car. They really are.
And is that the car you really wish that you had back?
If I could have any car back, it would be that one. But we move on through our lives, and that led to one thing, led to another. So I'm not one to look back at what was. I really look forward. But if I was to have a car back, it would be that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Love those. I wanted one so bad when I was a kid in high school, and my dad said, well, do you want a car that you can drive every day or a car you're going to be working on all the time? Because my dad had a 49 MGTC when I was very young, and he loved that car, but it was always breaking down and causing problems. Believe it or not, it was a daily driver for him. I mean, he's a brave guy to drive that every day. But oh my gosh, well, I would love for you to share some more with our listeners about what's new there at Prestone. I know one of the things they talked about at the intro here was the new Cor-Guard, the corrosion inhibitor that you guys have going here. But you shared some really interesting things with me. And one of the things I watched the other day on YouTube was a story about how there's such a difference in these coolants these days. The old days, it was that kind of day glow green color that every coolant was. Now they're purple and red and all sorts of different colors. So tell us what's new in Prestone's lineup and coolants these days, especially going into the winter season here as we are, when everybody needs an antifreeze as well.
Certainly. There are many colors, you are correct, but color is just a dye. And we should always remember that. If you go vehicle to vehicle, make to model, the basics of those metallurgies and those polymers in that cooling system 25 years ago were all pretty much the same. And now 25 years further on, we have a whole bunch of new polymers and metallurgies, even things as simple as we would think of as cast iron. There is so much changes in that so that it can withstand the stresses of the modern smaller engine. So color is designed by the OEMs to make you go and put that same color back in the vehicle. It's to help the customer understand what they've got. But Prestone, our yellow jug, is that very light yellow-green color, which is designed to go into any car at all, any make, any model. And it will actually take on the color of the coolant it's poured into. So you pour it into a purple, it will become purple. You pour it into a pink, it will become pink. Just to give ease of mind. But what we've done while we've been working with the OEMs over the last 5 years is upgrade cooling technology to the point where if you put Prestone in your car, it will completely protect that cooling system from any type of corrosion at all for about 200,000 miles. There's nothing else that does that.
Wow.
Right now.
Wow.
If I look at a radiator that was put in 200,000 miles ago and you filled up day one with Prestone, you could not tell that radiator apart from the 200,000 one to a brand new one. And the real important thing about protecting from corrosion, when something corrodes, all that gunk, and that's a chemistry term, all that gunk goes to the radiator and it clogs up the radiator tube. It blankets them in this thick coating of corrosion byproducts, and that stops the coolant being cooled by the radiator. So what happens? Your car is going to start to run a little hotter all the time. And if it runs a little hotter, it's not running at the parameters the engineer designed that car for. So it's not getting optimum performance. It's not getting optimum cooling. Your oil's not going to be going at its optimum viscosity. Your engine is slowly going to degrade. So what Prestone has done is completely stopped the degradation of the whole cooling system so that your vehicle will maintain all the parameters it was designed to run at.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, you mentioned 200,000 miles. Now, I'm assuming here you wouldn't suggest somebody not change their coolant or antifreeze over 200,000 miles, right? Isn't it still a good idea to flush the system as per the OEM requirements on the car or the engineers designing the car to redo that?
So most of the cars out there have varying change requirements. And yes, you want to follow what those are. Now that Prestone Cor-Guard has been taken on by some of the OEMs, such as Ford, their requirements are now 200,000 miles. It's almost a lifetime. What you have to make sure
that's
you
incredible.
Do is, yeah, you want that's incredible, but you have to be able to keep an eye on your cooling system. Don't just, day one and then don't look at it for 200,000 miles. You're still going to lose coolant. You're still going to get some evaporation going. You may get leaks going. The important thing is to always top it off. You always want to spend the time to make sure you top it off. If you don't have the Prestone Cor-Guard, if you have something else off the shelf from retail, absolutely you need to keep changing that out because it can't protect like Prestone can for the newer technology in the vehicles. If your car is less than 12 years old, you really need to be checking that and changing with Cor-Guard.
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool. Now, quickly, aside from the traditional thought of Prestone for most consumers as an antifreeze or a coolant, what are some of the other products you guys offer?
We provide a full range of automotive chemicals, from brake fluid, power steering fluid, automatic transmission fluid. We also have an absolutely excellent line of heavy-duty coolants for Class 8 vehicles, 7 vehicles, Class 6 vehicles, the big rigs. Those, again, we are integrating our Cor-Guard technology into those products. For those that are very worried about what color coolant they should use, we offer a full line of different color coolants, which are true OEM technologies from a real OEM supplier, because Prestone, we provide many OEMs with their factory-built coolant, which we've designed for them in partnership.
Mm-hmm.
So anything automotive chemical, from windshield washer to your power steering fluid, Prestone provides.
Very cool. Incredible line of products. It's been around for ever and ever, it seems like. And if people want to learn more about these products, is it simply Prestone.com?
Prestone.com will give you some information. We are currently revamping our website to be relaunched this coming 2019. Google Prestone, see what comes up. There's a lot of stuff on YouTube. There's a lot of stuff on social media. You better catch up with what we're doing. There are a lot of bloggers out there that have visited our research and development site in Danbury, and there's lots and lots out there about us.
Very cool. Very cool. Check it out. Well, here's a very introspective question for you, Colin. If you woke up tomorrow and you were a car parked in a garage, or a truck, or a motorcycle, or a bike, I don't know, we'll see how you answer this, what would you be and why?
All right. Number one, it's outside. It's on my driveway. It's not in my garage. It's never been garaged.
Okay.
It's my 1998 Ford F-250 with an absolutely amazing 7.3-liter Power-Stroke diesel engine. It's a workhorse of a truck. It always starts up. It's got a few jings, but it never gives up.
There you go. Just like Colin. Great answer to that question. Well, up next is the last lap before we put the pedal to the metal or replace our coolant. Let's say thank you to today's Cars Yeah sponsors. Hey, Cars Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Covercraft. I've protected my vehicles with their products for decades. Want to keep your vehicle's interior looking new? It's easy with Covercraft seat covers. They'll protect your seats from the daily abuse of pets, children, weekend adventures, and even those everyday spills. It's a fast, easy, and inexpensive way to keep your vehicle looking new. All Covercraft seat covers are easy on, easy off design that are machine washable. You can choose from many fabric options, colors, and accessories, all designed and carefully sewn for your special vehicles. Their seat gloves are semi-custom fit for cars and trucks, and their seat savers, a favorite of mine, are custom tailored to fit your seats like a glove. Work truck seat covers are tough, durable, denim weight fabric. It's like putting a pair of rugged jeans on your truck's seats. Want to stay warm? Covercraft also offers seat heaters. Covercraft is the right choice. Learn more today at covercraft.com and tell them Mark at Cars Yeah sent you. That's covercraft.com. What's every automotive enthusiast's dream? To design and build that perfect garage. My friends at Metron Garage are a group of creative talents who've combined their passion for cars with their careers in architecture. Their service includes unique garage design and state-of-the-art fabrication. They will create the coolest custom garage for you and your vehicles. Metron Garage's system features fully engineered commercial-grade material and structural framing that's stronger than traditional construction. Their designs are pre-engineered to meet your building codes for fast, bolt-together construction. With over 25 years of experience, you'll see a 3D rendering to visualize your custom garage, and the final structure will fulfill all your storage needs. Contact Metron Garage today and begin realizing your dream garage. Go to metrongarage.com. That's metrongarage.com. Garage is built for discerning enthusiasts. Where it's not just a garage, it's where your dream garage comes true. All right, Colin, we are back and we're entering the last lap. I'm going to fire off a series of questions and ask you to give our listeners some very quick blips of the throttle answers. So here we go. What's the best automotive advice you've ever received?
Easy. Change the coolant.
I was hoping you were going to say that. Absolutely. Just did that on my wife's car. It's got 130,000 miles on it now, running like a top. And just changed all the fluids. It's cheap insurance, that's for sure. Would you share one of your personal habits you believe has contributed to your many successes over the years?
Be grateful for what you receive. I personally hate entitlements. So put in the hard work. Be proud of what you accomplish.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned grateful. We're recording this show the day before Thanksgiving, and I do a blog, and my blog that I sent out this week was about gratitude and the importance of gratitude, not only of being grateful, as you just mentioned so eloquently there, Colin, but also what it does for you inside when you are grateful, how it changes your perspective. So if you don't follow me on Cars, you should go check out that blog. And I know it's going to be past Thanksgiving when this airs, but I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Same goes for the holiday season, no matter what you like to celebrate. Now, how about a resource? There are a lot of great resources these days. Is there one in particular you'd like to share that you found useful?
Well, we're revamping the Prestone.com website, and it has some really cool learning modules that are going to be into it. So coming next year, and it'll be worth the wait. So Prestone.com.
Absolutely. I'll make sure I share that. It'll be on Colin's show notes page, and I'll share that on my social media when it comes out. So, Colin, you let me know when that comes out so that I can promote that for you. Now, if I could wave my magic wand and arrange for you to have a drink with anyone in the automotive industry, living or deceased, who would that be?
Oh, Henry Ford, without a doubt.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Just the vision he had, and to be able to discuss how things are today to what it was then. That would be a fascinating conversation.
I always thought, wouldn't it be cool to bring him back, pull up to the train station in a new Ford GT and pick him up? I mean, imagine the look on his face. Or take him to a Ford factory plant where they're building cars and the guy would go nuts. He would just go nuts. It'd be fun. Now, how about a book? Is there a book that you've read you found really useful that you'd like to share?
Sure. True Geek Answer, Lord of the Rings, J.R.R. Tolkien. The battle of ethics behind this amazing story applies as much today as it did when it was written. Nice.
Nicely done. Very cool. Well, a reminder, our listeners, you can find all these great links on Colin's show notes page. Just go to carsyeah.com, type in Colin Dilley, Dilley, and that page will pop up. There's another great place on the Cars Yeah website called Guest Recommended Books under the Resources tab, where this book and 1,000+ books are listed from my past inspiring automotive enthusiasts. And I made it really easy for you to get your hands on those books. Just click, takes you right to Amazon. Easy peasy, as they say. All right, we are up to the checkered flag here, Colin, and this last question can be a little bit of a doozy for some folks. It's nice to think about, though, and with the Christmas season coming, it's even better to think about giving cool gifts like this. I'm going to buy you any cool collector car on the planet today. Doesn't matter where it is, who belongs to it, who owns it. I'm going to bring it to your garage. Heck, I might even build a garage for you to park it in so you don't have to leave it out there in the cold next to that wonderful truck of yours. But there's a couple rules to this game. The first one is you can't sell it to buy a bunch of other toys with. You have to drive it and enjoy it. No garage queens here at Cars Yeah. And it can be the only collector car, fun toy car you can have in your garage. So what's it going to be?
Well, what a gift, Mark. So being born in England, it would need to be the Aston Martin DB5 GT Classic British Luxury Grand Tourer. And it would have to be from the year I was born, 1964. Which is also the James Bond car from Goldfinger in 1964.
Nice. I was hoping you picked something like that. I think that's appropriate for a gentleman from the UK to be driving an Aston Martin DB5. What a wonderful car. What is it, other than, of course, the James Bond 007 provenance with that car? What is it about that car that you love so much?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that question. It's one of the first all-aluminum engines. It was a 4-liter inline 6-cylinder, and being all-aluminum, Prestone Antifreeze is the perfect antifreeze for that car. I think it was 280-plus brake horsepower. It can top up at 145 miles per hour. It might not make it off the hill I live on, but what an amazing car. Love it.
Well, I'm glad you answered that question. You know, one of the things you showed me when we were at SEMA was some pieces of aluminum from an engine, and I thought they were brand new. And how many miles were on that that you showed me? It was incredible.
The pieces we looked at were between 150 and some of them were 200,000 miles of actual day-to-day driving on Connecticut and New England roads.
Yeah, it blew me away. I mean, honestly, for the listeners out there, I would encourage you to check out this new technology because it was really, really impressive. I know he kind of set me up when he said, well, I want to show you some parts here, Mark. How long do you think these things have been on the road? And they looked brand new to me. I was just blown away. So very, very cool. Well, Colin, I'm very happy to get you an Aston Martin. What fun that's going to be. Perhaps we could take that over to English countryside and go for a nice drive in that Aston Martin. You, my friend, have taken me on a great ride today. I want to thank you for sharing your stories and for this journey. Could you offer us one little parting piece of wisdom or guidance before you drive off into the sunset in that beautiful Aston Martin DB5 GT?
Oh, my parting thoughts. Enjoy your life and what you do as much as you would enjoy driving that Aston Martin DB4.
Absolutely. What a nice way to put it. And what's the best way for our listeners to follow along with you and Prestone?
So www.prestone.com, as I said before, we're revamping it, but that's the place to start. And YouTube, we have a lot of great stuff on YouTube, and we'll be getting those pictures of those pieces of metal that you saw out and about as much as we can because they truly are a sight to see.
Yeah, it was absolutely incredible. I was blown away. Well, listeners, you can find links to everything Colin has shared today on his Cars Yeah show notes page. Again, just go to carsyeah.com, type in Colin Dilley, Dilley, and that page will pop right up. All right, Colin, thanks for being so generous today with your time, your expertise, and for sharing your experiences with me. You're welcome. This was great fun. Until you and I talk again, I'll see you down the road.
Thank you, sir.
You take care of your cars, but who takes care of your investments? Tune-ups aren't just for engines. Updating your financial plan is important too. Your GPS may take you from A to B, but it won't help you on the road to financial freedom. For that, you need a good co-pilot and a very trusted advisor. Chris Kimball, CFP, is just the man for the job. He'll guide you down that road without driving you crazy. For over 25 years, Chris has helped people just like you and me with their financial planning and investments. With a master's degree in financial services, he is eminently qualified, and he's a car guy too. Learn more at chrisvkimball.com or call 866-ON-A-PLAN. Securities through Money Concepts Capital Corp., member FINRA SIPC. CK Financial Services is not affiliated with Money Concepts Capital Corp.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's ride here at Cars Yeah. Drive on over to carsyeah.com to find show notes and inspiring automotive fun. Download your free copy of Filler Up, a fun book filled with gorgeous photographs of fuel filler fun, including quotes from more inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Download your copy today, and we'll see you next time on Cars Yeah.